G'day mates, it's Donnie here. Today we're going to be going through a couple of things that you can do in OBS. It's a little bit different to, I guess, some other videos that I've watched, trying to bridge the gap between doing some simple things with background removal and then also some stuff to do with playing guitar and audio. So at the moment, I've got an ASIO window open in the background. We'll get to that later. The first thing I want to talk about is NVIDIA's background removal. So if you've got a NVIDIA 30 series card, so 3060, 3080, 3090, if you're rich, you can actually use NVIDIA's tool called Broadcast. So I'm just going to bring that up now. Thanks to my mate Fat Cat Archie for the pointers on this one. Here we go. So what you can actually do in this is, so you can do a lot of processing stuff just using your GPU. So if we actually look here, we've got microphones, speakers, camera's the one that we're going to use. You can pick the camera that you want, and then down here you've got the effect of background removal. So that's what I've actually got going on in the bottom right hand corner of OBS at the moment. So it's actually just taking my background out, so it you know overlay me over the top of the screen without having anything behind it. But you can also as well do background blur. You can replace your background. So I actually had a Sonic the Hedgehog one that was pre-built in there earlier, and as you can see, works pretty well. So this is actually probably a little bit easier to do than your standard background blur in OBS. I've found it performs a little bit better as well. So this is the one that I'd recommend using if you've got an NVIDIA card. If not, there's plenty of videos out there that actually explain how to do, a background blur or green screen on OBS without having to set up a green screen behind you. So this is actually quite a really, decent little tool. Now, once you've done this, in OBS, to actually add the source, all you need to do is go in and click add a source, and then you can select, I think it's just called NVIDIA. Once you pick that, it'll then give you the ability to actually bring in what you can see at the moment. So me down in the bottom right hand corner. Get rid of that now. So yeah, it's a really easy, simple thing to be able to do. Anyway, moving on. The next one that I want to talk about is one that I've seen a lot of people sort of say a lot of things about, different ways of doing it, and kind of, relying on having a digital audio workstation to get audio into OBS when you don't really need it. So I started researching this in the last few days because I wanted to actually play guitar without having to rely so much on external pedals. I wanted to do some amp modeling, but I also didn't want to have to run, FL Studio or something in the background every time I wanted to stream. So that's what led me to what you can see in the background here. So the ASIO plugin for OBS. So this is what you're going to want to download. I'll make sure that we've actually got this in the comments of the video that I'm uploading so everyone knows where to find it. But first you want to install this. This basically lets you route your ASIO audio interface, which is generally a pretty low latency audio driver, directly into OBS. So make sure you download this first and sort of follow the instructions for where to put it all. And then we can actually go into OBS itself, which is going to be a fun thing because I don't know if I can record OBS while in OBS, but let's find out. All right. Bear with having to see me about 1,000 times with this weird cascading that's going on, but this is the simplest way I can think of without Googling a bunch of things to show you this. We're now in OBS, and at this point I'm assuming that you've actually installed the OBS audio plugin, and you've actually got the ASIO driver for Windows. Next thing we're going to do is go down to here and click on plus, and then add, you should have this ability now to say ASIO audio input capture. If that's not showing, it generally means you haven't installed something properly. You haven't put the files in the right plugin directory. So go and check that. And once you've done that properly, you should be able to come into here and find it. So do this, and we should be able to say create new ASIO input capture. And then this will pop up, and it's going to actually ask you, so this is the point where you can actually specify the audio interface that you actually want to be listening in on. So for me, what I actually want to be listening in on will be my M Audio M track 2x2M. That's where my guitar and everything runs through. So I'm just going to click on that. You can then say whether you want it to be format of stereo or mono, and what you're going to map in your channels to. So the OBS is, the M track has actually got two different channels. So channel 2 is what I've actually got my instrument on. So I'm going to do that and mute the second one, and I'm going to say that I actually want it to be mono because then it'll go through both speakers rather than just one. Now we're going to click OK. Wait for the lag. Now at this point you should be able to see up in the top left here, we've actually got the ASIO audio input capture. It's already capturing audio. Just gonna get the old guitar here. Right now you probably can't hear anything though, which is to be expected. So what we need to do is if we go right click, advanced audio properties, you'll actually see now you've got this audio monitoring, say monitor and output. That should then, hopefully, there we go, come through your speakers. In my case, for some reason, it's coming out the wrong speakers, probably because of something in Windows, but yeah, that's how you do that. Now, we're just going to stop the recording and go and fix that audio problem, and then I'll jump back and we'll do another thing that's pretty fancy. Alright, I'll fix that now so I can actually hear myself through the headphones. Put my hand up so you can see I'm actually playing. Alright, now the next thing though, just try and make this window a bit bigger since I'm doing two things at once. If we right click on the ASIO audio input capture and then we go to filters, this is what I think most people are going to be wanting to do. You can then say to add a, check this out, VST filter. Now, one of the things to be careful of this is if you're running a 64-bit version of OBS, that you have to use 64-bit VST plugins. It won't work with 32-bit plugins. So now that we've added that audio filter there, we can actually then select any of the plugins that you've actually got that are in the 64-bit folder for where your VSTs are. So one that I've been playing around with the most is Guitar Rig 5, but I'm just going to show you this one that I found, just a free VST. What you can do, you select it and then go open plugin interface and check it out. I'm slightly out of tune. So if you want to tune without having tuning pedals outside of the what you've got on your computer, you can actually use this G-Tune ASIO VST plugin. Alright, I'm going to get rid of that now, and then I'm going to say, instead of that, I want to use Guitar Rig 5. Whoops, press the wrong button. Open the plugin interface, and what I should be able to do is select an amp and play. And you would have noticed then the sound should have changed. Might be a little bit low because I haven't really got the volume stuff sorted out yet, but you're actually doing all your modeling and everything through here now. So yeah, do that. You can certainly just mute the audio interface like that if it's a bit noisy. But I just thought I'd show everyone how to do that in the video because it's something really simple that you can do. It really expands what you can do in OBS without having to, as you can see, if you look down here, I don't actually have a door open. It's just purely reliant on what ASIO is receiving as the input device through OBS and then adding a VST over it. So just thought I'd show everyone that because it's the most simplest way to get your audio, especially with some effects chains and stuff, actually into OBS and broadcast it. Cheers everyone. If you like what you saw, make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that sort of stuff, and also jump on Twitch, follow me on there. It's just Donnie's Garage there as well, where I sometimes play guitar or games. Cheers.